he debuted an NBC reality television show called The Apprentice. In June 2015, Trump formally announced his entrance into the race of White House and won a majority of the primaries and caucuses to become official Republican candidate for president on 19 July 2016. On the 9th November 2016, Donald Trump was elected the 45th president of the United States when he defeated Democratic candidate Hillary Clinton. Donald Trump has been married 3 consecutive times and has 5 children. Fatima Aliyu, NTA News.
And indeed, President-elect Donald J. Trump says it is time for Americans to come together as a united people and pledge to be president to all. Let's get more details now from Ronke Kolawole.
As the prevailing results showed early Wednesday, Trump scored 289 electoral votes as against Clinton's 218. He won in key states said to be strongholds of the Democrats. Redefining his vision to fix the inner cities, address infrastructure issues, and hopes for great relations with the rest of the world, President-elect Donald Trump said there is need to reclaim America's destiny and urged all, especially those who did not support his presidential bid, to shun their differences and support him.
Every single American will have the opportunity to realize his or her fullest potential.
I would think that he is trying to be conciliatory. We had a few interesting messages he wanted to relate with everybody, but America's interest will come first. He will support business, but I think it's more in the area of increasing employment opportunities, getting the best to do the best. These are the little snippets from his speech.
Trump congratulated his main opponent, Hillary Clinton, and commended her gallantry, saying she fought very tough. Hillary already conceded the presidential race. In her acceptance speech, she expressed readiness to work with Trump, saying everyone owes him an open mind and a chance to lead.
I want you to remember this. Our campaign was never about one person or even one election. It was about the country we love and about building an America that's hopeful, inclusive, and big-hearted.
Meanwhile, the president-elect continues to receive congratulatory messages from world leaders with pledges to foster existing relations for the benefit of all. Ronke Kolawole, NTA News.
And of course, still staying with that, President Muhammadu Buhari says he looks forward to working together with the United States of America's President-elect Donald Trump to strengthen already established friendly relations between both countries. In a congratulatory message, the president indicated that bilateral relations will further focus on many shared policy priorities, such as a fight against terrorism, peace and security, economic growth, democracy and good governance, while extending his good wishes to the U.S. president-elect to the onerous task of leading the world's strongest economy. President Buhari also congratulated American citizens for a true demonstration of democracy. It was a gloomy Tuesday for thousands of immigrants in New York as they watched and analyzed the results of the presidential election. Joe Siago has details of the shades of opinion.
The waiting game was scary, hurtful and exhausting for several Clinton hopefuls as the winning numbers from Florida, North Carolina and Ohio paved the way to the White House for Republican Donald Trump. In the words of some Americans, everything about the 2016 presidential campaign and the election has been unusual and unprecedented with far-reaching impact.
It's not going to be well for, relationships with other countries. I know many countries are disappointed with even having him as a candidate, so just to have him as president in the office, it just would not be good. What we do in America affects the rest of the country, the world. It's not just we're focusing on America here and the decisions made in America is going to stay in America. It's not like that. The whole world will be affected.
We're a group of friends studying politics in Norway, and we thought this was too big to miss out on. A year ago, we were studying for exams, and we said, let's buy Make America Great Again caps, because that's funny, that's a joke, right? And then suddenly, Trump is up here. It just tells me that people are upset. They're scared and they're tired of what has been done to them for so many years by the political system. Yeah.
So what are the great lessons to learn from this election?
The great lesson to learn from this election is always listen to the people.
And that just shows how disenfranchised the American people are. They don't trust the politicians, so they're voting for a non-politician. It's got a lot of impact on the rest of the world, and it's tough to say exactly what all of the world is going to experience. But I know for one, Norway is going to be afflicted because Trump has threatened to pull out of the NATO, the armed forces, unless Europe starts contributing more, which means Norway is going to have to contribute more to the NATO forces, and that's going to be expensive for the country.
That said, the majority of Americans have spoken as Donald Trump becomes the 45th President of the United States of America. In New York, Joy Usiago, NTA News.
But then, just before the result of the American presidential election contest emerged in full, guest on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria program had emphasized that wherever victory goes, America will still maintain her fundamental objectives. Let's get more details now from Aisha Oba Ali.
The concluded 2016 American election attracted attention of the world, especially the bitterness and scandals that characterized the campaigns. Apart from the history of having two of the major parties nominating a female for the first time and a rocky politician defeating 16 other candidates to fly the flag of his party, guests on Good Morning Nigeria say the position of America in world politics and economy will always interest the world.
Any candidate who was appealed took his message to the 70%, and that's where it mattered. And that shows the way the results are trickling in. It shows that he probably had the right message for the larger segment.
The legacy of Obama would have remained, because she also campaigned on the fact that he did well for America. And in fairness to him, he did well for America. At the time he came, that was the time they had their recession, but he confronted it headlong.
The guest emphasized that with strong institutions in place, the United States will not compromise her fundamental objectives, whichever party or person is in charge.
Trump emerging as the president is really not about Donald Trump, what he's going to do, because like I said earlier, there are checks and balances that will make him abide by the Constitution, that, things that he can do against foreigners, against immigrants, against, like Africa, for instance, are limited.
Trump was not interested in policy as such. He was interested in sound bites. He ran that popular television program.
The guests were unanimous in suggesting that the world, and indeed Nigeria, have many things to learn from the American democratic process. In Abuja, Aisha Oba Ali, NTA News.
Now let's come back home as the federal government has approved the procurement of 38 four-wheel drive vehicles. The Mines Inspectorate Department of the Ministry of Mines and Steel Development of the nation's mining sector as part of the economic diversification drive. The Minister of Mines and Steel, Dr. Kayode Fayemi, announced government's approval at a news briefing after the Federal Executive Council meeting. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
President Muhammadu Buhari presided over the council meeting which approved that the mining inspection vehicles be procured locally. 326.7 million naira is to be expended on the project as part of efforts to further enhance the growth and development of the mining sector. Each of the 36 states of the Federation and the FCT will have one of the four-wheel drive vehicles each.
It speaks directly to the government's commitment to supporting Made in Nigeria product. And it speaks directly also to our determination to really begin to focus a lot more seriously on the activities of informal or illegal miners. Only yesterday I was in Paikoro local government in Niger State, where 2 people died last week, just to also examine precisely what led to that and the activities of people who are just trying to eke out a living in these places, and the role that we should play in supporting artisanal and small-scale miners in order to fulfill Mr. President's job creation agenda and the revenue generation determination of government.
The Federal Executive Council also approved the ratification of the Lake Chad Water Charter, seeking to strengthen the cooperation between all the member countries of the Lake Chad Basin Commission.
The charter seeks to forge some kind of consensus on issues relating to environment, security, and the future of the lake itself. As you are aware, the lake has been threatened by climate change over the years. It has shrunk to less than 10% of its storage capacity 40 years, 50 years ago. And all efforts are being put in place to ensure that the lake is safe from extinction and to improve the security situation, which again, as we know, was partly the reason for the current restlessness and insurgency by youth in the northeast.
The Water Resources Minister also used the forum to defend the unprecedented efforts by the Buhari administration towards ensuring the revitalization of Lake Chad through interbasin water transfer, describing it as critical to the nation's security and economic well-being.
This interbasin transfer project, as of now, we think it is the best option. If we don't do something, this lake will dry up. And when it dries up, the future of millions of people will be affected. So no amount of money is too small to spend to bring peace and security to that region.
The meeting also provided the opportunity for members to reflect on the progress, challenges, and prospects of the council, which clocks 1 year on Friday.
We're here to serve Nigerians. We're not here to huru. The challenges are still enormous. We read what you write, the feedback coming from the populace, and we know that we can't rest on our oars.
There will be no commemorative event to mark the first anniversary of the cabinet, but as the minister said, President Muhammadu Buhari's charge to them at the meeting was very instructive. Get on with the job, do your very best to serve the country and earn the trust of Nigerians. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari this Wednesday granted audience to the Southeast Senators Forum, where issues critical to the development of the area were discussed. State House correspondent Adamu Sambu reports that the Deputy Senate President, Ike Ekweremadu, led the delegation.
Apart from the Deputy Senate President, Ike Ekweremadu, and the Chairman of the Southeast Senators Forum, Enyinnaya Abaribe, 5 other senators, including Hope Uzodinma, Sam Egu, and Andy Uba, were also in attendance. For about 1 hour, President Muhammadu Buhari and the senators interacted behind closed doors on issues of special interest to the Southeast. Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu and Senator Enyinnaya Abaribe spoke to newsmen at the end of the meeting.
We believe that dialogue is better than any other form of engagement. So we decided to visit the president to present to him some of the concerns of the Southeast, including the issues of roads and general infrastructure, the rail, the airport, and then to also discuss the issue of security with the president.
We all know that there are problems everywhere, but we feel that the Southeast is the particular zone that is far more shortchanged at this moment than other zones. And we also looked especially on the area of appointments in the Southeast, especially with respect to the National Security Council. And he also let us know that the governors of the Southeast have also engaged him on the same problems that we came to engage him with. And so there's a concerted effort by people from the Southeast to be sure that we engage with this government meaningfully.
President Muhammadu Buhari and the Southeast senators also discussed areas of concern regarding the activities of the indigenous people of Biafra, but details were not made public.
We had a good conversation and I promised to look into most of the issues.
We are very reassured with the response we got from the president, and we look forward to further interactions with him in this manner.
This is the first meeting between President Muhammadu Buhari and the Southeast Senators Forum. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Let's turn our attention now to the legislature as a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of the Erosion Control and Prevention Commission has passed through second reading at the Senate on Wednesday. Waziri Zayana reports that the bill is one of those carried over from the 7th Senate.
While presenting the bill at Wednesday's plenary, Senator Hope Ozodinma said when established, the commission will be vested with the responsibility for the prevention, control, management and redress of erosion.
The problem of erosion is more catastrophic in the southern part of Nigeria, while the certification is also as bad as that in the northern part.
Your state, without prejudice, is #1 state in this country that actually faces the problem and having the challenges of erosion.
Also passed through second reading is a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Smoke Claims Court, presented by Senator Joshua Lidani, and that of the establishment of the Nigerian Agricultural Processing Zone by Senator Francis Alemikena.
The court, when established, shall have jurisdiction in respect of causes of action to hear and determine any claim relating to a dispute arising from any contract for the sale of goods or the provision of services.
The idea of this bill focuses on attracting private sector agricultural business to set up processing plants in zones of high food production.
There are a lot of fruits that are not processing. And when you see them at all time, they are being wasted.
What the federal government needs to do is to bring up, and of course we also support through legislation, policies and legislations that will encourage not only agricultural production, but processing, storage, marketing, and so on.
Of the 14 bills slated for consideration this Wednesday, only 4 were taken, 10 were stepped down. Reason was because most of the sponsors of the bills were out on oversight functions. Outside plenary, the Senate President received leadership members of the Ghanaian Parliament who are in Nigeria on a familiarization tour to the National Institute for Legislative Studies.
Leadership of Parliament should come and visit this institution, understand what they do, and see the importance of that institution.
This opportunity of your visit for us to compare notes, some of the things we do will go a long way immensely in putting things together.
From the National Assembly, Waziri Zayan, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has passed at second reading a bill for an act to strengthen the Federal Scholarship Board. Members resolved to also investigate the much talked about money-making scheme that was introduced into Nigeria this year, known as MMM. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Go tells us more.
The bill is basically to ensure that there is a statutory body to adequately oversee the planning, implementation and management of federal scholarship in Nigeria, sponsored by Representative Yusuf Tajuddin from Kogi State.
The unit is already existing, is to give legality to it. I therefore see this bill as an opportunity that will give access to brilliant but students of humble background.
Some need this scholarship to study, but because the unit is not functional.
A bill seeking to repeal the Commodity Boards Act 2004 and to reenact Commodity and Grains Board as a body to regulate production and exportation of those produce in Nigeria, sponsored by Representative Mohammed Mungono from Borno State, passed second reading.
So that farmers will get reasonable price for those produce and they will be encouraged, and to have one single board that will incorporate all these other commodities.
Also passed at second reading was a bill for an act to amend the National Emergency Management Agency, which, among others, seek to ensure the remittance of 20% of ecological funds to state emergency management agencies for swift response to such needs. Sponsored by Representative Ali Issa from Gombe State.
There is no provision for hazard allowance for them, while other agencies enjoy those allowances.
There is a need to have toll-free for all manners of emergencies.
The House urged concerned government agencies to commence mopping up of pirated copies of the 1999 Nigerian Constitution in circulation, moved by Representative Edward Pojok from Plateau State.
Mandate the House Committee on Legislative Compliance to interface with relevant authorities to ensure compliance.
Members resolved to investigate what they described as mismanagement, executive lawlessness, and financial misappropriation in the Lake Chad Basin Commission. Speaker Yakubu Togara granted audience to a delegation from the Parliament of Ghana on a study visit of the Nigerian Parliament.
We will continue to work together. We will extend the support to anyone that you may want to send for training.
The delegation has been in Nigeria for about 3 days. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
Well, this is to let you know that you can watch this news live online, on the go, via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. Interior Minister calls for synergy between the police and civil defense. Polka community resettled. These and more stories when we return. This is News Extra.
From what we have seen, we have the capacity which we can rapidly develop or feed in ourselves. If we don't import rice, we stop importing corn and other grains, Nigeria will have plenty of money to invest into developing industries, especially manufacturing, textiles and so on, and develop iron and steel, and complement the infrastructure development. So really, the opportunities are virtually limitless, and we are very, very aware of this, and we are prepared to exploit it to the fullest.
When you think of it, there's no such thing as a right size. There's only the size that's right for you. Our needs are different, so choose the size that suits your needs. Introducing the MTN Extra Value Bundles. Call and data bundle plans designed to suit any size of life. Load 1,000 Naira to get a medium bundle and choose between more of voice or more of data. Whichever you choose, you get amazing extra value. Bundles are also available in large and extra large. Dial *131# to get started.
The Honorable Minister of Science and Technology, Dr. Ogbonnaya Onu, cordially invites the public to the 2016 World Science Day. Theme: Celebrating Science Centers and Science Museums. The week-long activities started on Tuesday, November 8, 2016, with visits to schools for counseling. Wednesday, November 9th, excursion to agencies under the ministry. And continues on Thursday, November 10th, 2016, quiz competition among secondary schools, announcement of results and award of prizes, tour of exhibition stands. Venue: Raw Materials Research Development Council. Time: 10 a.m. prompt. Belema Wakama, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Science and Technology. Announcer.
The family of Okon has been taken hostage by an evil-looking creature.
The thing just show for night. Yeah, big, where?
Come in. My sister, I was there what was happening in the news. We must suddenly brought back your family.
You think you can freeze them? No way!
When Amatem fought appear, malaria run for cover. Amatem. Thank you. Amatem fought against some gel capsules, tablets for adults, and suspension for Pekin. Amatem does not eat your body and are very easy to use.
Are you are?
Remember how Amatem fought against crash pin to confirm the original and against some gel capsules. Amatem, say no to malaria, yes to life.
It's truck month at Ford, and we've got a Ranger just for you, Vincent. Here's the Workhorse 2.5 petrol single cab with free Ford Protect, a 4-year, 120,000-kilometer service plan. Or the 2.5 petrol-based double cab with 800mm water wading capability, available in manual transmission and with free Ford Protect. So while stocks last, visit Koscharis Motors today. Because, wait for it, thanks Vincent, we've got a tough Ford Ranger just for you.
Whenever pain occurs, you want quick relief. Try new Nurofen Express. It goes to the source of pain and gets to work in under 15 minutes. That's why Nurofen Express delivers fast and effective relief. New Nurofen Express works at the source of pain, fast.
Being a mom is great, but when your child has a fever, you don't know what to do. I trust Nurofen for Children to take care of my child's pain and fever.
Effective relief you can trust.
Wake up on a Mocha mattress and wake up to feeling good.
Wake up to feeling good.
For quick and easy banking on your mobile, like checking your balance or transferring money, use our mobile banking services today. To find out more, visit us online at ecobank.com. Move on up with EcoBank, the Pan-African bank.
Welcome back. It's News Extra, and thank you for being there. Now let's talk security, as the Minister of Interior, Lieutenant General Abdurrahman Dambazao, has tasked the police and the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps on better synergy to drastically reduce kidnapping and other criminalities plaguing the country currently. The minister told the gathering of top management of the police and Civil Defense Corps that the crime pattern is dynamic, hence the need for the two agencies to work out better collaboration in view of the fact that criminals do not operate in isolation. He also expressed the need for the two agencies to collaborate with other security agencies and shared intelligence, as well as manpower development through joint training and operations. Lieutenant General Dambazao also condemned the senseless killing of innocent Nigerians at a mining site in Zamfara State and directed the police and the Civil Defense Corps to apprehend the perpetrators. Meanwhile, the Nigerian military has expressed its readiness to partner Ukraine in the areas of military technology and equipment. Commending the existing bilateral relationship between both countries, the Ukrainian ambassador said his country producers of military hardware ready to make presentations to Nigerian armed forces on equipment that will help in fighting terrorism. Governor Kashim Shettima of Borno State has commended the Nigerian military operations in the northeast, especially the Nigerian Air Force introduction mission, which he said has further degraded the Boko Haram terrorists. The governor stated this during a courtesy visit on the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar. Defense correspondent Isaac Nkuba reports.
In the last 6 months, the Nigerian Air Force has been providing air support to the ground troops at the front lines to rid northeast Nigeria of Boko Haram terrorists. The target is to decimate the operational capability of the insurgents. This, Governor Kashim Shettima says, has truly paid off.
Now people in Maiduguri can sleep well. Yes, we are experiencing hiccups, which are inevitable in counterinsurgency operations. But in the fullness of time, I believe that we shall have an enduring peace, because the Boko Haram have been degraded to a sufficient extent that they no longer pose a potent threat to the corporate existence of this country.
The governor, while appreciating the medical provisions by the Air Force to internally displaced persons, also appealed that the area of education be looked into.
I want to assure you that we are strategizing, looking at all that we have been doing in the last 1 year, to see how we can be more effective in ensuring that no citizen of Borno is killed, no citizen of Borno is thrown out of his village. We'll continue to work closely with the Nigerian Army and other security agencies. And I believe, God willing, inshallah, within the shortest possible time, we will restore that glory.
Condoling the families of military personnel who lost their lives in the fight against insurgency, the Chief of Air Staff and the Governor expressed optimism that peace will prevail in the Northeast. In Abuja, Isaac Nkuma, NTA News.
Still talking security, the Nigerian military has commended the NTA for its unflinching support to the military formations in the fight against insurgency and appreciates its effort in keeping the country as one through balanced and objective reportage. Acting Director Defense Information, Brigadier General Rabi Abubakar, gave the commendation when he visited NTA Maiduguri Zonal Network Center as part of his tour of media organization in the country.
The tour of media establishments in the country by the Acting Director Defense Information is to rub mind and seek understanding of media operatives in promoting issues of national interest and security in their reportage with the aim of projecting the image of the country in positive light. He frowned at the situation where some sections of the media tend to promote sensationalism and parochial interest at the detriment of the corporate existence of the country. Brigadier General Abubakar remarked that the media has a role to play in changing the negative perception of the country and its people, hence the need to report with high sense of responsibility. He disclosed that the military is currently engaged in 17 different security operations and assured that it will continue to do its best to rid the country of terrorist activities, stressing that the Boko Haram menace will soon be brought under control.
Reporting positively on military and other security agencies' activities and operations is extremely germane, especially in the current security challenges that the country is going through. And we believe that media is one of the strongest key stakeholders that could serve as a vehicle, to mitigating crisis.
The NTA Zonal Director Sani Yaro Bashir assured the military of NTA's continued support and collaboration through quality programs and reportage to its teeming viewers. He commended the Nigerian Army in supporting NTA and reiterated NTA's determination in ensuring peace prevails at all times.
The NTA considers itself as one with the military in terms of ensuring that this country remains one.
Alhaji Sani Yaro Bashir also condoled the Nigerian Army over the loss of its officers, including late Lieutenant Colonel Mohammed Abu Ali. In Maiduguri, Maimuna Garba, NTA News.
In complementing efforts of the Nigerian Navy as regards welfare of its personnel and wards, the Naval Officers' Wives Association, NOAA, has built staff quarters and classrooms at the NOAA Educational Center, Karachi, Abuja. Defense correspondent Isaac Nkuma reports that the Chief of Defense Staff, General Abayomi Olonishakin, who inaugurated the project, described the initiative as encouraging.
Since its inception in November 1965, NOAA, aside its mandate to promote love and cooperation among naval officers' wives and their families, has been supporting the Nigerian Navy on social infrastructure within naval units. The projects executed here comprise a 3-bedroom bungalow for the commandant, 10 numbers, 1-bedroom flat for the teaching staff, 10 classrooms, language and biology laboratories. Chief of Defense Staff General Gabriel Olonishakin presided.
It is gratifying to note that these programs and activities have continually impacted positively on the well-being of personnel families. This immediate accomplishment for which we assemble here eloquently underscores the determination of the current leadership of NOAA not to rest on its house, but to widen gradually the scope of its services to its beneficiaries.
The conception of this project was born out of the need to address the increasingly acute accommodation and space problem the school was facing.
The center is one of many institutions established by the association to cater for educational needs of children and wards of service personnel and the civilian community around the barracks. In Abuja, Isaac Nkuma, NTA News.
Now, the Presidential Technical Committee on Land Reforms has perfected arrangements with Anambra State government to start a pilot on systematic land lifting and registration with a view to ease the process of land registration and acquiring of certificate of occupancy. Chairman of the committee, Professor Peter Adeni, reiterated that proper land titling and registration will help government know what it has in terms of land resources and taxable property for proper planning. Deputy Governor of Anambra State, Nkem Okeke, while commending the federal government for the initiative, noted that the economic benefit of the project will transform the lives of the people at the grassroots and empowerment through the acquisition of land titles as collaterals.
Our visit today is to streamline exactly how we pursue the pilot, and it has been very, very successful.
It's good to identify every parcel of land in the country. I think it's a fantastic idea. It establishes ownership for every piece of land in any state, in any local government, in any area of the country.
The federal government inaugurated the Presidential Technical Committee on Land Reforms on 2nd April 2009. Meanwhile, the Federal Housing Authority has started what it calls heavy development control exercise aimed at sensitizing its estates across the country. The exercise commenced with Gwarimpa Housing Estate of the Federal Capital Territory. Mohammed Hamza Sheikh reports.
This construction work is stopped. It cannot continue till when the contraventions that were observed are rectified.
Distortions or changes in building plans without approval, building on unallocated plots, and other issues related to erection of structures within the estate are some of the contraventions that the Federal Housing Authority says the exercise will correct.
We were on the process of revoking the title and allocating it to other interested Nigerians when some of these racketeers in land and landed properties got wind of it and quickly duped a Nigerian, an unsuspecting Nigerian, sold this place to the person and got him to start work immediately.
One of the buildings was said to have been demolished 3 times for changing the plan from a duplex to a 5-story building, while another turned a residential building to a commercial one.
This is a structure that do not have any drawing whatsoever approved by whatsoever agency of government, and it is a classical case of impunity.
The Federal Housing Authority says the exercise will be carried out throughout the country. Muhammad Hamza Sheikh, NTA News.
Towards reinvigorating the party ahead of the 2019 election, the People's Democratic Party has inaugurated an enlarged strategy review and inter-party affairs committee to be headed by Professor Jerry Ghana. The party's caretaker committee chairman, Senator Ahmed Markafi, inaugurated it. Political correspondent Abdullahi Garba Benkudu reports.
After months of internal crisis and unsuccessful reconciliation efforts with the Alimadi Sharif faction, the caretaker committee said it has to move ahead. Inaugurating the more than 100 membership committee, Senator Ahmed Makarfi said their assignment is to make contacts, strategize and recommend possible constitutional amendments that will reinvigorate the party.
We must be engaging, we must look at all issues from all parameters, and the ultimate issue is how do we politically, democratically capture power come 2019.
Now we shall, by the grace of God, work tirelessly, pray fervently, research thoroughly, consult widely, debate profusely, analyze issues profoundly.
There were messages of solidarity from Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweramadu and the Chairman PDP Board of Trustees, Senator Walid Jibril.
So we are the foundation of democracy in Nigeria. And so if we have issues, democracy in Nigeria also have issues.
The Strategy Review and Inter-Party Affairs Committee has 3 months to conclude its assignment. In Abuja, Abdullahi Garba Birnunkudu, NTA News.
Up ahead, news from the business world, plus campaign against corruption by the EFCC. You'll get to know more when News Extra returns, so stay with us.
But there's something else it gives us. When we see such beauty, we want to share it with those we love. That's what LG wants you to see. Just what we see now, through our technology. LG OLED TV.
Success. I always wanted to make something of myself. Even when I was a child. With So Clean, my mother made sure that my clothes were clean and bright. With a 30% concentrated formula, washing is faster, brighter, and cleaner. Like millions of families, mine also trust So Clean. With my clothes and with my career. Because when all eyes are on you, you have to look the part. So Clean. It's your time to shine.
So Clean. Now with a new look and stain magnet technology for even better stain removal.
With Free Basics, one opportunity leads to many. Dial *141# to get Jobberman, Airtel One Touch, and many more without data charges. Only on Airtel.
Taste the nectar of paradise. Chi exotic nectar in pineapple, coconut, multifruta, and other exotic flavors. The taste will take you there. Chi exotic nectar, escape to paradise.
House of Chi.
Everyday air. Ordinary air. And then there's TomTom Air. There's air, and then there's TomTom Air. What are you breathing?
Welcome back and thank you for being there. You're still watching News Extra on the NTA. Talking business tonight, only a realistic, cost-effective tariff will guarantee the growth of the nation's power sector, as President of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria wants Nigerians to stop celebrating corrupt public officials to save the economy from further crisis. Amechi Pius has details on our business news segment.
Hello, and it's time to talk business, and nice to have you join us on Business News. As government and stakeholders grapple with the various challenges confronting the nation's power sector, operators in the industry have suggested adoption of cost-effective tariff for the sector. Experts say the sector is largely capital-intensive, adding that such tariff will be in the interest of the various stakeholders in the entire value chain from distribution to generation.
If power today is selling at cost for ECO to be like 68.8 naira per kilowatt hour, and your pricing power, net is pricing power at 20-something naira, you ask them, who is going to fund the difference? These schools are in their need of a savior.
They made this known when the Senate Committee on Privatization visited the office of one of the power distribution companies in Lagos. Stakeholders identified lack of foreign exchange and investable funds, consumers' unwillingness to pay their bills, and poor regulatory framework as the bane of the sector.
Power is so important in this country, and the only thing that can move this country forward, you have a demand that could run as much as 60,000 megawatts. You have 5,000 megawatts, and it's not as if you have enough of that. You are only, producing only 3,000 sometimes, and that is what the whole country gets.
Chairman Senate Committee on Privatization Ben Murray Bruce assured operators of government's determination to addressing the various obstacles impeding the growth of the sector.
What do we do to fix the problem? Ultimately, the public, the taxpayers must have power. The privatized companies must make a profit, and the government must look good. If a government does not look good, then they cannot survive.
Stop celebrating corrupt public officers and inculcate values and morals capable of reducing the menace of corruption that has adversely stifled the growth of the economy. President of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, ICANN, Titus Shoeton, gave this advice in an interview with Business News in Lagos. He described the present administration's resolve to tackling corruption as a step in the right direction and one that requires the overwhelming support of all Nigerians in achieving the desired results.
Don't let us celebrate crooks. Don't let us celebrate thieves because it's my kinsman. If it's a thief, it's my own thief. It's not right. When there is corruption, development cannot be in this country.
Shoeton warned members of the institute never to compromise on core values of the profession. He also urged them to be transparent and honest in the discharge of their duties, both in public and private service. And that's Business News. Thanks for watching.
In its bid to ensure accountability, probity and transparency in government financial businesses, the Buhari administration has put up a presidential initiative on continuous audit to drive home the objectives of the initiative. The Ministry of Finance organized an interactive session with the players in the sector. Kolo Mohammed reports.
Made it clear that it's not going to be business as usual as far as government finances are concerned. The presidential initiative on continuous audit is therefore introduced to, amongst others, keep close tabs on government spendings, plug leakages, and to ensure strict remittance of internally generated revenues by ministries, departments, and agencies.
You don't just roll out resources, you control utilization, and you audit and you ensure transparency and accountability in application of these resources. And that is exactly the goal of PICA. And you can see the sensitization that is going on. Everybody is being brought on board, and people really key in. People are getting committed. There is a renewed hope, and there is change of attitude.
Much as Nigeria is undergoing changes in public financial management, experts say the quest for higher performance on transparency and accountability need relentless commitment if the nation's economy is to be stabilized within the shortest time. Participants at the interactive session say they are poised to key into the initiative.
And again, when I get back to my own establishment, NYSC, we have already started involving this mechanism. The mechanism of probity, the mechanism of transparency, the mechanism of integrity, and the mechanism of equity.
A question and answer session which rounded off the meeting provided participants with opportunity to probe further on the new order of doing government business in Nigeria. In Abuja, Kolo Mohammed, NTA News.
The Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, has invited investors to key into its well-articulated regulatory framework and code of corporate governance towards the broadband revolution in the country. NCC Executive Vice Chairman Professor Garba Umar Dambata stated this while delivering a lecture organized by the Nigerian Academy of Engineering in Abuja. Ruben Okala reports.
Broadband is a high-capacity transmission technique using a wide range of frequencies which enables a large number of messages to be communicated simultaneously.
Experts say a lot is already happening in the Nigerian cyberspace with millions of people on the internet. It has been projected that in 3 years' time, the penetration will hit 30% to broaden the scope of penetration. How this will happen forms the day's discourse.
The public lecture is titled The National Broadband Plan as a Catalyst for Social and Economic Transmission, the NCC Mandate. The executive vice chairman of NCC spoke extensively on efforts of the commission towards broadband revolution and how it will transform lives of the people.
I am confident that the 30% penetration by 2018 is indeed achievable. The NCC unveiled its strategic vision 2015 to 2020 and aligned it with the MBP, that is the Nigerian Broadband Plan, to address the challenge of deployment of fiber infrastructure across the country.
The president of the Nigerian Academy of Engineering, Mrs. Joanna Maduka, says expectations of Nigerians are high for the improvement of broadband and commended NCC for the initiative. Facilitating broadband penetration is number one on the 8-point agenda of the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC. Ruben Okala, NTA News.
Kaduna Electricity Distribution Company has flagged off the second phase of mass development of free meters to customers in Kaduna State. Its board chairman, Hamisu Abubakar, says the target is to meet 500,000 customers in the shortest time. Astin Anyebe reports.
The first phase of the deployment of free meters to customers by Kaduna Electric was in Sokoto. The second phase will provide 50,000 meters to customers and will continue as the company receives supply. Chairman Board of Directors Hamis Abubakar says the commitment of the company to providing meters to all customers is to ensure that they pay for what they consume. To that end, a company that will manufacture meters will be established in Kaduna.
A factory is going to be established within Kaduna for the production of meters so that a lot of the costs would be reduced.
He said customers should cooperate with the company in the settlement of bills as the cost of everything about electricity has gone up.
The macroeconomic environment in the country is very unstable. The naira has substantially depreciated. The inflation is on the rise, and the disposable income of people is very, very low.
Managing Director of the company, Garba Aruna, who led the representative of the governor of Kaduna State to flag off the distribution of the meters and commissioning of the operational vehicles and motorcycles, said the smart meters are unique and distinct from the existing meters in the country as they have features that address basic needs of customers.
The energy that you don't use can be utilized by others. So if you are going out, switch off your air condition, switch off your heaters so that you can conserve energy.
The occasion was graced by traditional rulers and customers within the community who commended the initiative.
We'll bring our people together and we'll let them know the benefits.
Installation of the meters has already commenced in the communities that are expected to benefit under this phase. In Kaduna, Aston Anyebe, NTA News.
It will no longer be business as usual for establishments that refuse to follow due process in workers' salary adjustments. Chairman, Senate Committee on Establishment and Public Service, Emmanuel Polka, stated this during an oversight function at the National Salaries, Incomes and Wages Commission in Abuja. Adebola Brooksland Sunday reports.
The issue is that you take some allowances.
You want to know, not those sketchy things you want to give.
After the arguments on wanting to know the exact amounts every worker takes home, especially with the issue of disparity in salaries among workers, which has been an issue of concern to the committee based on available information, the chairman of the committee, Emmanuel Polka, insists members must have the breakdown.
That through collective agreement.
Chairman of the Commission, Richard Egbule, tells the committee that the Commission remains focused on its mandate to achieve equitable, affordable and sustainable remuneration system.
We have just directed the Commission to submit details of salaries and wages of the different public establishments. No person should be higher than government. No person, no parastatal should be higher. There must be sanctions.
There are people who blatantly refuse to even give the information in the first instance. And it is not okay for public service agencies to start litigation against themselves over something that can easily be done, because the money they are using to pay belongs to government.
Mr. Egbule says with a staff strength of about 200, the agency has been able to save over 400 billion naira from checks and balances in various ministries, departments and agencies. Adebola, Brooksland Sunday, NTA News.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has begun an initiative aimed at implementing core values in young Nigerian children to make them responsible. The context-tagged Creative Youth Initiative Against Corruption through Creative Writing Contest has pupils from various primary schools in Lagos as participants.
Commission contest contribute to nation building through creative development with a focus on war against corruption with primary and secondary schools as the target. The contest, which showcased the creativity, featured various creative media such as painting, poetry, dance, singing, as well as drama, information technology, and invention. The participants wrote essay on the topic, "My New Nigeria, Free from Corruption."
If we want corruption to be eradicated or minimized in our country, we need to be self-satisfaction. We need to be satisfied with whatever we have.
A good government, everything will be better. There will be better infrastructure, there will be better schools, the educational system will be good.
Our people obey the authority of Nigeria. Fathers, mothers, and youth, arise and say no to corruption, no to ethnicity. Together we shall make this our father's land great and the most beautiful place to live on earth.
The project's director, Foluke Michael, said the contest is born out of the need to promote responsible citizenship and inculcate national rebirth in the youths.
If we are saying no to corruption for them, they are also learning a skill that by the time they are coming out of school, they are already skillful in one field or the other, and then that will reduce unemployment. Whilst we are using a platform to say no to corruption. So whatever they know how to do best, it's a platform for them to recognize, reject corruption.
The creative writing contest is open to children and youths in primary and secondary schools in Lagos State. All entrants are between the ages of 9 and 14. In Lagos, Musa Toliad, NTA News.
Now, there seems to be no end to the controversy on the validity of JAMB results currently before the House of Representatives. Chairman, Senate Committee on Tertiary Institutions and TED Fund says it's an issue of legislation. JAMB has no choice than to key in. Franka Uzoma Olwa reports that the committee members visited the JAMB headquarters on oversight functions.
The inability of students to gain admissions into tertiary education institutions had generated debate among lawmakers on the need to validate JAMB results for 3 years, though opinions are still divided.
If that is the law, we must implement, but it will be very, very difficult to implement. Number one, students who score 205, who wants to read medicine, even if he waits for 10 years, he cannot, with 205, succeed medicine. If we want to take another examination next year, and you have said it's bad from 3 years, so the boy will not listen to you. He would rather go and change his name.
Where are we with regards to admission? Because for me, I think people are confused. I don't know whether JAMB is still processing and releasing results, or is now left to the individual universities without JAMB's input.
After studying JAMB's operations as they relate to examinations and admissions, Chairman, Committee on Tertiary Institutions and TED Fund sums up their visit this way.
We are operating a democracy. You don't get things the way you want, all right? You might have your view, okay? But once the majority has reached a decision as what it wants, you have to go by it.
The committee members were, however, not impressed with the present structure where JAMB operates from due to inadequate funding.
As partners in progress, members of the Senate Committee on Tertiary Institutions and TED Fund have promised to support JAMB with the 2017 budget to enable the board overcome its current challenges of funding and lack of befitting office headquarters. Franka Uzoma Olwa, NTA News.
Librarians in the country have been told to reinvent themselves for improved service delivery to key into the modern digital information dissemination. This was at the induction of certified librarians organized by the Librarian Registration Council of Nigeria in Abuja. Abdullahi Musa Suleja has details.
Librarians play a pivotal role in the education and information development of the society,
as custodians of written education and information materials. Like any other profession, the librarians are being guided in their practice by laws after being certified. At the ceremony, 354 custodians of the library have been certified and inducted before the Director Education Services, Mrs. Justina Ibe. In a keynote address, immediate past ambassador of Nigeria to Poland, Sam Jimba, challenged the librarians to strive to catch up with the developed societies.
Librarians must reinvent themselves through the electronic platform, through the internet, in offering their services. If they do that, they will remain relevant.
To go back and renew their strategy, talents in developing libraries, giving the people the relevant service needed.
We should try with our senior colleagues, give information out. We should not spoil the information.
I'm just with joy, rejoicing, because I'm now a certified librarian.
I feel there are some things we need to learn, like know how to navigate the internet very well and know how to blend it in with librarianship.
The inductees bring to 5,025 certified librarians in the country. In Abuja, Abdullahi Musa Suleja, NTA News.
Health sector gets support from the Carter Center. I'll be right back.
Here comes the sun. The taste and aroma of Top Tea can leave you feeling good and ready to go. Top Tea also comes in ginger, lemon and lime, and pure black tea. Each pure black tea pack now comes with 2 free tea bags. Take a sip and feel the sunshine in every cup.
Top Tea, big bags of flavor. IGR Summit for local government leaders and administrators in Nigeria. With the significant fall in the price of crude oil and in keeping with the diversification policy of federal government of Nigeria, Sean Cousins Consulting and NTA TV Enterprise invites chairman of LGAs, councillors and DAS to IGR Summit for local government leaders and administrators in Nigeria. Date 16 to 17 November 2016. Venue Rays Continental Hotel, Central Business District, Abuja. For inquiries, please call 0818-502-1405 or 090555-99925. You can also email us with info@scbsedu.org or visit our website on www.scbsedu.org/LG to register. IGR Summit. The world has changed. So must we.
Our latest edition of TV Guide is out. This edition of your favorite magazine will simply blow your mind. The package is loaded and our offering is quite illuminating. NTA has a new Director General, Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, a tested and trusted professional, an old wine that keeps getting better with age. This is the new driver of the digital switch over train. Get to know him more in TV Guide. And now, on our cover is one of Nigeria's finest comic actors, Afiz Oyetoro, aka Saka. Peep into his world and you will see how he is putting from glory to glory. The change agenda of President Muhammadu Buhari, we did an assessment so far. All our refreshing columns and incisive features are a collector's item and research materials. TV Guide, available on your newsstands and in all NTA stations nationwide. Also in our embassies in United Kingdom, USA, China, Ghana and Egypt. TV Guide, grab a copy and give one to a friend. TV Guide, still your indispensable companion.
Welcome back. The deployment of space technology to enhance contributions of other sectors of the economy, such as agriculture, communication, security and environment, was canvassed at the 6th National Conference of Space and Engineering Division of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. Science correspondent Kirian Umayo reports that members consider space technology as a veritable tool for economic diversification.
The thrust of the conference is anchored on the fact that as a nation in satellite business, there is need to develop a model driven by satellite technology through research, rigorous education, engineering design and manufacturing. National Chairman, Space Engineering Division of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Yusufu Mshelia, remarked that development of different segments of space technology is key to growth and advancement in satellite industry.
These days, satellite technology is not only about launching satellites. We can also use the vast amount of satellites we have already in orbit by other nations.
The space technology value chain involves everybody: government, industry, the military. So for it to develop, that means these three organs must work in harmony.
President, Nigerian Society of Engineers, Otis Oliver Anyeji, raised the issue of underutilization of the nation's space resources, wondering why the preference for foreign services that can be provided in Nigeria.
That preference to spend dollars rather than naira has stood between us and the utilization of the technological resources we have ready for many years now in the field of space engineering.
The emerging roles of space technology in a fast-developing economy like Nigeria, experts believe, cannot be overemphasized. Kirian Umayo, NTA News.
The World Bank and the federal government are collaborating towards boosting the output of small farm holders to address poverty in rural areas. The World Bank, under Furthermore 3 project, is to link the farmers to off-takers to address post-harvest losses. Musa Babali reports.
Farmers in Kano State are among the beneficiaries of the World Bank intervention program in areas of crop production. The initiative, which is designed to create wealth among farming communities, a business plan has also been developed for rice, sorghum and tomato production. So far, 93 production clusters and 823 production groups are in place and supported with farming tools and inputs. Our production has increased significantly, courtesy of the World Bank project, she says.
Encouraging the youth and women who have been bastardized by the insurgency, and we are trying to do what we call rehabilitation, reorientation, reorganizing their mind, and refocusing them for them to take agriculture as the main thing they can do.
For easy movement of farm produce to the urban areas, feeder routes are being constructed for the farmers. The federal government says it will remain faithful in the payment of counterpart funds to the World Bank project for sustained implementation and meeting timelines. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
As part of efforts of the federal government to improve healthcare delivery and reduce capital flight due to health tourism, Senate Committee on Health has embarked on an oversight visit to major federal medical institutions in Lagos. Mia Odori reports that the visit assesses the performances of such institutions in the last 1 year and sees areas of rallying support to improve their operations.
Institutions visited include National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control (NAFDAC), Lagos University Teaching Hospital Idiaraba, Nigerian Institute of Medical Research Yaba, Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital Yaba, Federal Medical Center Ibutemeta, and the National Orthopedic Hospital Ibobi. This visit is to interact with heads of the institutions and have first-hand information on their operational areas. This is to guide the committee in treating the next appropriation bill.
They have passed the buck to the government to ensure they should give them what they need to provide the excellent services that we are all craving for. We want to reverse medical tourism. But in reversing medical tourism, we must be prepared to provide the kind of infrastructure that can enable the personnel to offer these services that Nigerians go for abroad.
At NAFDAC, the Chairman Senate Committee on Health, Lanre Tejoshu, raised the issues on ban of beans by the European Union, importation and circulation of fake and unwholesome regulated products that affect the health of Nigerians, and how the agency can improve on its operations to reduce such cases. In Lagos, Jane Ojukwu, NTA News.
Nasarawa State Governor Umaru Tanko Almakura has called on Nigerians to support the fight against neglected tropical diseases (NTDs). He made the call during the Carter Center commemoration of its support for 5 million treatment of tropical diseases worldwide at Gidangimba village in Nasarawa State. Agatha Joseph Obioha reports.
Governor Tanko Almakura, who was represented by the Nasarawa State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Daniel Iya, says Nasarawa State will work closely with the Carter Center to ensure the state is free from neglected tropical diseases.
Nasarawa State has continued to benefit from all the programs of the Carter Center.
The president of the center, Ambassador Mary Ann Peters, says the laudable achievement was made by regular support of people in Central, South America and Africa who have agreed to work with the center for reaching out to the affected areas.
All the treatments, all these 500 million, 42% over 20 years were distributed right here in Nigeria. And last year, the number was over 60%. So that is why we chose Nigeria to celebrate this milestone.
Beneficiaries commended the center for coming to their aid at the right time. Goodwill messages were delivered at the event by the donor agencies. Agatha Joseph Obioha, NTA News.
Chairman, Senate Committee on Cooperation and Integration in Africa, Abubakar Sani Danladi, has emphasized that the task of providing quality service for accelerated regional economy is important to Nigerians, particularly at economic recession. This was during an oversight visit to NEPAD in Abuja. National Assembly correspondent Ifeanyi Izumba reports. We're sorry for the loss of audio in that report. We'll try to bring it to you or in the course of this bulletin or in another subsequent bulletins. We'll take a short break now, and when we return, of course, sports and the weather prospects. We'll be back in just a moment.
The production, distribution and sale of counterfeit and fake drugs is a corrupt practice and a crime against humanity. This has informed several measures and strategies to combat fake drugs, including introduction of anti-counterfeiting cutting-edge technologies to detect fake drugs on the spot. These technologies are being deployed to all the states across the Federation, as well as the internally displaced people's camps. The President, Muhammadu Buhari, and his team are committed to this fight.
The federal government of Nigeria, in line with its anti-corruption agenda and posture, will fight a total war against fake drugs and other unwholesome regulated products in order to ensure that Nigerians remain healthy and well.
Lend your support and join NAFDAC to rid the country of fake drugs and unwholesome regulated products. NAFDAC, safeguarding the health of the nation.
Thank you for being there. After several years of devastation of the education sector by the Boko Haram insurgency, Borno State is fast trying to regain its long history of learning with the establishment of a state university in Maiduguri. Franca Uzoma Olua reports that Governor Kashim Shettima received certificate of recognition from the National Universities Commission for the new university.
In the last 6 years, Borno State has suffered a huge setback in the education sector with the destruction of more than 500 primary schools and killing of many teachers by the Boko Haram insurgents. The establishment of Borno State University, Maiduguri, as the 35th state university in Nigeria is expected to rebuild confidence in the education sector. With a 3.14 billion naira contract for the establishment of faculties of arts, social sciences, education and others, Governor Kashim Shettima says the university has the requirements needed to commence academic activities in January 2017.
We shall continue to invest heavily on education. Borno has 7 tertiary institutions, and despite the Boko Haram insurgency and its huge financial impacts, we are in the category of states that pay the best salaries to tertiary workers.
Having satisfied the National Universities Commission's standards in the areas of university law, academic brief and master plan, the Executive Secretary, NUC, says the institution is good to go.
We are also sending a copy of this letter to the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, our neighbors, TET Fund, so that they can enlist it in the 2017 allocations for Borno State.
Borno State is a center of learning. We have been in education in centuries before any other civilization came to Nigeria.
The establishment of Borno State University, Maiduguri, brings the total number of universities in Nigeria to 144. Franca Uzoma Olua, NTA News.
The Federal Capital Territory Ministerial Task Force on Debt Recovery has sealed off the premises of some agencies of government that allegedly owe the Abuja Environmental Protection Board millions of naira for solid and liquid waste management. Mithairi Igbeng reports.
In a bid to recover the 9 billion naira debt being owed the AEPB by government and private establishments for solid and liquid waste evacuation, the FCT Task Force on Debt Recovery resorted to prosecuting defaulters at the territory's mobile courts. According to the chairman of the task force, Babashehu Lawan, the refusal of the management of some of these government agencies to appear in court warranted the sealing off of their premises on the orders of the court.
I'm calling on all service users within the FCC to pay off promptly their waste management service bill. If any service user fails to, we'll summon them to the court. And we are going around so many places, and the seal off orders will continue.
Some staff of the affected agencies, however, argued that they were unaware of the court summons.
We want to serve the summons to appear in court. I'm telling you,
The affected government agencies are expected to approach the mobile courts for vacation of the seal-off orders before their premises can be reopened. In Abuja, Mithairi Igbeng, NTA News.
Well, let's get back to that earlier report where we told you that the Chairman, Senate Committee on Cooperation and Integration in Africa, Abubakar Sani Danladi, has emphasized that the task of providing quality service for accelerating regional economy is important to Nigerians, particularly at economic recession. This is during an oversight visit to NEPAD in Abuja. National Assembly correspondent Ifeanyi Izumba reports.
The new Partnership for Africa's Development, NEPAD, was created to make for inclusive growth and development on the continent. The Chief Executive Officer of the agency, who is newly appointed, said her first impression on resumption was that of neglect and utter abandonment.
Our team staff lack motivation and training. Those are the things I met. We need to develop the people, we need to let them understand, we need to make them know their functions, we need to make them understand the roles of NEPAD, not only in Nigeria, in Africa, in line with the change agenda of Mr. President.
Committee chairman promised to partner with them to overcome their challenges and ensuring their programs are implemented effectively as expected.
We believe in your commitment to hard work towards accomplishing the expected development goals of NEPAD in Nigeria and Africa.
The management of NEPAD believe that if given the level of empowerment they desire in the area of finance and sundry needs, their best efforts shall be applied to actualize their mandate. Ifeanyi Izumba, NTA News.
Marcus has details.